I'd like to call the
Wait.
meeting to order. Good.
Wait 1
Oh,
second.
we have somebody.
Live.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I'd like to call the meeting to order of the ad hoc committee for the public access committee. It is 6:02. So first I'd like to take attendance. So Jacob,
Present.
Roy.
I'm here.
Okay, and I'm present as well, and Cindy. So we do have a quorum. All right, so again, do we have any written disclosure of pecuniary conflict of interest? Jacob?
No, I don't have any.
Hey, Roy?
Neither do I. No.
Okay, and we don't have any petitions or delegations. We don't have any information reports from municipal officers. So we're going to go into 5 on action items. The minutes of the ad hoc committee. Adopt the minutes of April 12th. Has everybody gone over the minutes?
Yes, I have.
Roy?
Yes, I have as well. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any problem with them? I
No.
think they were accurate. Okay. So I guess we have to adopt these minutes. I'll let poor Cindy catch up with us because we're kind of zooming along. Okay, so Jacob, would you like to move this one?
Yes, I'll move it.
Okay, and Roy, would you like to second?
Sure.
Okay. So this resolution of the Ad hoc Public Swimming Access Committee, moved by Jacob, seconded by Roy, dated May 10th, 2021, that the minutes of the Ad hoc Public Swimming Access to the Emile Dufon River Committee held on Monday, April 12th, 2021, be hereby approved and will then be included in the next regular meeting of council for consideration of final approval. Any discussion? Jacob?
No.
Roy?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll just go straight to a vote. All right, so I vote yes. Jacob?
Yes.
Dean is not here. So John is not here. So Roy?
Yes.
Okay, so then this motion is carried. Resolution is carried. So then we have to go to B, the next steps. So council has accepted the product. Oh, sorry. Did you want to add something, Cindy? No, we're okay. Okay, I thought I heard a voice. Okay. So next steps. Council has accepted the project management plan as presented. Based on this acceptance, no further work is required by the ad hoc public swimming access on the Emile Dufon River Committee on this specific project. The committee will therefore automatically dissolve.
Done.
Yeah. So anything to add, you guys? No?
No.
Been a pleasure.
Okay. So 6, old and new business. Is there, oh, sorry, Cindy?
I just wanted to say that just so the committee is aware. Oh, Richardson's joining us here. Just one moment.
Oh. That was just, okay.
We'll just wait for until he joins. I'll just review for everybody.
Yes. Okay, good. Hi, John.
Can you hear us, Mr. Richardson?
I can. How is everybody?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Heather, do you just want to review what you just said then, and
Yeah.
then I'll continue on?
Yeah. Okay, so basically we just took attendance and thank you for coming. We reviewed the minutes from our last meeting. And then, so council has accepted the project management plan as we presented. And so, do you have anything to add?
I haven't actually, you sent that from the last meeting, did you? I haven't actually read it, but whatever it is, you've accepted it. That's your point?
Well, I mean, it's just basically how we're going to move forward.
Okay.
So,
Um,
there was our concerns about proper permits and the like, and whether we needed to change a bylaw. And
And
So-
what is your conclusion on changing bylaws and that?
probably Cindy, would you be better prepared to? I can give a synopsis if you, or
Up to you. I can pull up the plan if you want.
would you like to see the plan, Mr. Richardson?
I feel guilty for not having read it. I guess what I meant, yeah, well, I suppose yes, but primarily I'm interested in, did
Okay.
you conclude that there needed to be any changes to existing bylaws or not?
No,
No changes to bylaws?
no. Cindy checked with both the solicitor and the municipal planner, and so the questions regarding whether bylaw was required to close the shore road allowance was answered by the municipal planner. And parking signs need to be put in place regarding not leaving vehicles unattended. And we already have a bylaw in place about the fires. Would you like to add anything about that, Jacob?
Yeah, there was already the bylaw in place that, I'm just trying to read the section here, so I'm saying the right stuff, but they would have to have permission of the legal owner of the property to have a fire, so therefore they'd have to go to council to have a fire. So fires would not be permitted there. And then the only spot that they could dispose of waste or garbage would be at the landfill, so the garbage, people would not be allowed to leave garbage. And we included in the project plan, putting garbage cans down there to encourage people to throw the garbage and recyclables in the appropriate containers so that staff could dispose of them at the landfill.
So sorry, am I understanding you say that no fires at all, that fires would be expressly prohibited down there?
The only way that someone would be able to have a fire, according to our bylaws, is if they went to council to get permission to have a fire. So yes, fires would be prohibited unless special permission is granted by council.
Okay. So what would be the criteria for giving permission?
I believe someone would have to go to a council meeting and petition council to allow them permission to have a fire there.
Based on what though? So somebody says, I want to have a fire. You say, why? What would be an acceptable reason?
That would be up to council to determine, not myself.
Okay, so fires prohibited. Garbage prohibited, all right. What about hours?
No hours.
Somebody could be there in the middle of the night?
Has it ever happened before?
I don't know, but I mean,
It is a public area.
well, one could, whether it's a public area or not, I don't think it's determinative of whether there could be a prohibition on time there or something like that. I mean, I don't know the answer, but is there any noise bylaw on there? Are there any rules on noise?
No,
Okay, so somebody could be there in the middle of the night making noise.
yes. But we just determined in our plan that we would actually inform everyone, remind everyone that is our gem that we need to take care of, and we'll, you know, take care of it better, monitor it better, share it
Okay,
better.
yeah, okay, so a meeting or two ago, though, on issues of noise, fire, and garbage, there was some transference of the blame to people from Mattawa. And I had asked, whether this thing could be kept local or whether it's, because if it's open to, anybody in the world, right? Is that your interpretation? Open to any people from Mattawa
Yes.
anywhere in the world?
Yes. It would be impossible to police it. That's what we've determined. Roy, would you like to add in on this one?
Yeah, actually, I was an
You had
advocate for
opinions.
keeping it open. My worry was the messaging that we'd be sending as a community. We have a great partnership with our friends in Mattawa, and making it a determination that only Calvinites could be in that. My opinion is, I think that would send a negative message about our community and who we are.
Okay, yeah.
Those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, okay, so, I think that's a reasonable interpretation of this, but we're also dealing with the information, and this has been repeated, that it's been people from Mattawa and that who have been the largest offenders, causing the problems that are of such concern to both, Ms. Vanshee and myself, noise, fire, all this kind of stuff. And, it doesn't seem to me that, people from outside the Calvin area are going to have any particular commitment to, regarding it as sort of a sacred gem sort of thing. And, I really think that there ought to be some hours on this where, where it's not at night, because if it's at night, they have to have fires to see. It's pitch black there.
Yeah, well, I don't know again how we would police that. And if they do light a fire, then it's a police issue.
Yeah, but it may be a police issue, but there's not a lot that can be sort of done about it by the end of the night. What about after dark, no use of it?
Again, I would like that, but I don't think there's a way we can police that.
Well, is there a way that there can be the first step in policing it is to have a rule or a bylaw or something to that effect. What about starting the process by getting some kind of a bylaw to that effect? Hours, limited hours, so that you don't have somebody, or at least somebody, what they do. I agree that, the problem is that very little of this can really be policed, including fires, until it's too late. That's the reality. But it does seem that the first step would be to, actually have some rule in place. And I got to say that I think the idea of that being used as a public swimming thing after dark is dangerous and crazy. I really don't see why, if there's a bylaw on, fires, there's a bylaw on waste, why I don't see why there can't be a bylaw on hours. There's all kinds of things that are prohibited at different times, in the world. There are parking regulations, et cetera. And I really don't see why that shouldn't be included in this. This is also, I know I have a sense that, this is, that you're more focused, and understandably so, on trying to make this happen than on, the possible position that it puts Calvin Township or whatever in. But if this stuff's going on after dark, it definitely increases the liability here. There's no question about it.
John, my property butts up to the bridge. I'm on Peaceful Lane, so I travel that access daily and multiple times a day, and I'm not aware of any disregard to that area. So My caution is, do we go down the point of limiting access for those that would enjoy it and be respectful for those that we have thoughts that may disregard it? Do we have a record of those from Mattawa per se coming and being there after hours? Do we have record?
Well,
So
we
I
certainly
understand
have,
that one of
well,
the-
we have statements by, various people on council that, precise things that particularly Roseanne has been complaining about, were things that Mattawa residents did.
Okay.
I can't remember who said that, but I don't know. If Roseanne were on the call, and I really think she should be, should have been invited to this meeting, but she would say, I am 100% confident that there have been instances of people there after dark. And, I just think that, from a safety point of view, I think that compounds this enormously.
Well, perhaps moving forward, I can take that way and maybe encourage us just to keep a better eye.
But there's nobody looking at it. That's the problem when it's going on. Like what is wrong with, so there's a bylaw on fires. There's one on garbage. Why not something for, covering the after dark thing? Do we all agree that that is that definitely compounds the safety issue or not?
Oh, I agree. Oh, I agree.
Okay, so we all agree. So isn't it a reasonable thing to do then?
For the one-off, I'm not sure. Cindy, how hard would it be to add that to our project plan and hours on the signs? Or it's already a done deal?
Well, considering council has already approved the plan, we'd have to take it back to them and with a revised, what would need to be done. So we'd have to revoke the bylaw, or not the bylaw, the resolution that they passed at the last council meeting, and rescind it, and then reissue the revised plan. You can also just bring to the table, it doesn't have to be part of the plan. You can just bring to the table that you want a noise bylaw. Based on what Mr. Richardson is describing, it would be better if we brought forth a noise bylaw, which applies to the entire municipality, instead of just this one particular instance in one particular place. So for instance, the bylaws for fire and garbage, they're not specifically for the fire, having a fire at the public swimming access. They're for fires in the entire municipality. And same with, garbage. You can't just throw garbage out your window and it's for the entire municipality kind of thing. So if you want something like that, then I would say it would be better to bring forth a noise bylaw in order to restrict. And in it, you can mention the public swimming access, but I don't think it would be as effective if it was just for one thing. That being said, bear in mind enforcing it. As it's been discussed by everybody, if we put a bylaw in place, then technically we should enforce it. Our bylaw enforcement officer, and Jacob can speak to this because Jacob is the municipal bylaw enforcement officer, Jacob doesn't work at midnight. So enforcing that bylaw in that particular instance will be extremely difficult. As you mentioned, Mr. Richardson, by the time our municipal bylaw enforcement officer deals with it, it'll be over and done with.
Well, then why have any bylaws? That's true for any of this stuff. It's true for fire. It's true for garbage.
Yes, but the fire and garbage, there's more things. Like I said, they're for the entire municipality. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying.
No, I understand. Look, I
The noise
completely get,
bylaw.
okay. Yeah, no,
What
I get
I'm
this. I'm
thinking is
trying to, I'm
if
trying to thread
someone's
the needle with you, okay? But can I ask you this, okay? I'm not sure why all of a sudden we're talking about noise now, when we were talking about, the after dark problem down there. I mean, that in itself is a very serious problem.
Again, the same thing with enforcement. Roy, do you want to chime in for your opinion?
Well, okay, before he chimes in, if there's a bylaw, somebody can say, oh, it's after dark, you can't be here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. Like, I really feel strongly about this after dark thing. Down there. I mean, I agree that in certain circumstances it includes noise, but it's a different character of problem.
Okay. Roy?
I see Mr. Richardson's point. I'm playing out the different scenarios. My question is a couple of them now. If you had the bylaw in place, it'd be specific to that area, so it would be unique. And if we went down the path of with that bylaw in place, then another citizen, another good Samaritan could approach these people sitting at the beach after dark. But who would feel comfortable to do so? How many people in the area other than Roseanne and myself would deem it necessary, and maybe a couple other people whose homes are close by that would be feeling responsible enough to approach these people? I would be really surprised if somebody just driving through the area would stop at the bridge and walk down and approach the people.
I'm sure that they would not, but I think that this is a big enough problem. For Roseanne, it's, et cetera, so that she would. I mean, the thing is this, I agree there's enforceability problems. I agree that, who would get involved in this. But the thing is this, that at the very least it establishes that whether they do it or whether they don't, whether somebody complains or whether they don't, that is not to be used as a swimming hole after dark.
I just think this is, I mean, it's an impossible. I understand your position. It's just that we're too small.
What's the underlying issue? Is it that we don't want people there after dark? Is it a risk issue in the sense of they're going to be swimming after dark?
Absolutely, the second one. Absolutely, no question. The second, and possibly more. I mean, I see it as a very, very significant safety issue. Among other things. I mean, there are other things, obviously, that as an adjoining landowner I don't like about it, but I'm trying to separate the things that I don't personally like from, things that are sort of, objective concerns here.
It's a concern. I don't argue about that, but like I said, enforceability. And I think the whole Mattawa thing, that was a one-off 2 years ago. And I think that moving forward, we had the big no parking signs in place. They were installed. That was an issue. The garbage was an issue. The fire was an issue. The nighttime thing never came up. And so now we're going to play catch up. And then I understand, but I wish you had been here before so we could have put that in the plan. I didn't realize that was an issue.
Well, Cindy, what is the best way to deal with that at this juncture? Logistically, I mean, I don't you seem to be the person who understands the process here, which I fully admit to not understanding, for the record.
In all honesty, I don't believe the plan has to be changed. The plan is to put some garbage cans and some signs around telling people what they can and cannot not do. If a bylaw is, if committee wants to suggest to council to invoke a bylaw, then that can be done separately.
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. So really what you're saying is that, so the plan has to do with somehow, if I can loosely, probably inaccurately, but you get the idea, describe it as the creation of a swimming hole. Right, and the no after dark thing has nothing to do with the creation of the swimming pool. It has to do with just general what people can and cannot do in Calvin. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially, yeah, I mean, we try not to restrict too much what people can do. There are bylaws in place, like you said. You can't light a fire wherever you want. You can't throw garbage out the window of your car. You know, there's different. Yes, that's essentially what it would be.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's a discussion for another day, another issue, but we just want to move forward with the plan. Fair to say?
Yeah, Heather, one last question for you. The signage, does the signage include use at your own risk, or is it a designated area? I can't remember that.
Yes.
Risk.
Sorry, say that again?
It is use at your own risk.
So whether it is in the middle of the day or the evening, it's always going to be deemed used at your own risk. So it takes
Yes.
liability away from us. So it's about a safety issue. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that may be, but it has nothing to do with this, with the objective nature of the safety issue. You know, nothing whatsoever, right?
Yeah, the thing is, Mr. Richardson, the whole idea of having a swimming hole right adjacent to a bridge is a safety risk in itself, with the idea that there's no designated buoys separating the area, that the kids or anyone could jump from the bridge. The whole piece of that area is, in my mind, day or night, difficult at the best of times. So I agree with you on the point of being a safety risk. I think the extension to the evening is just adds to the concern. So I concede that one, absolutely.
Well, you would agree that the after dark thing significantly escalates the safety risk.
Yeah.
Yes, but we
I
also
don't
can't be
agree with
everybody's
you at all on
babysitter.
that one. I think the whole idea is they were just trying to make the best of a situation that's already being used as a swimming hole. And for the few people that may use it at nighttime, do we really need to create bylaws for those one or two individuals?
Should we bring that to a vote? I don't know. I don't think, I think that, you know, my friends and family have been swimming there for generations. And for the most part, everybody uses it appropriately. There's a mom and a few kids. And I never even thought about jumping off the bridge. Thank you for that.
I would have been that kid. I would have totally been that kid. That's the thing. I still look at
that
it.
never even dawned on me. But it's such a small area. And yeah, if you want to put it under a microscope, the whole thing's a risk. But so far, everybody's been respectful, and but for the fire and the litter, that's been the only issues. So I think just moving forward, we could just accept, like we've already put the project plan to council, so backpedaling would make it look unprofessional, I guess. I don't know.
Well, but I think what Cindy is saying is that, you know, this can be dealt with, that it can be dealt with, you know, without necessarily, to use whatever word, unraveling or backpedaling or whatever you were saying, you know, the project plan.
Mm-hmm. So we'll just move forward the project plan. And then if that issue does come up in the future, then we can address that in a separate bylaw. Is that okay? Cindy, do you think that would work?
I think it should be addressed now, even if it's a separate bylaw. I really think it should be addressed.
Roy? Your thoughts? Oh, I lost him.
No, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
My split between screens. Yeah.
Okay.
My thoughts are we move forward with what's happening with it was already been agreed to with respect to the process. I do appreciate Mr. Richardson's concerns, and I think it's a valued concern. And if it continues to be something that needs to be noted and dealt with, then for sure, as a community, we should deal with it too.
I tend to lean that way as well. Jacob, do you feel, what's your thoughts?
I like the idea of going ahead with the project plan as it is, but I might consider that maybe Heather bring it up to council in old and new business at the council meeting tomorrow to make council aware of this concern.
Okay, fair.
And then all of council can have a bit of input on it as well, as to whether they want to create a bylaw for this issue.
Thank you. That's a good suggestion. Thank you. Is that okay with you, Mr. Richardson?
Well, I would prefer something, something definite on it. I think we're kind of voting here.
Well, I'll talk to them tomorrow.
That I think this is a serious issue, and I think it should be dealt with.
Would you like to put it to a vote, though? Yeah.
I agree that there are all kinds of aspects of this that are going on, and on balance, it's obviously a more hazardous situation than a lot of other things that are designated as swimming things, in different places for many reasons. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that the fact that it's dangerous anyway, or it's used at your own risk, is a reason to not address this. In fact, I think it's the opposite, because there's general agreement that there's stuff going on here that's more dangerous than perhaps the average place, that things that can be dealt with and considered really should be. I mean, that's my view of it.
Well, okay, but so we will. I will address it tomorrow at old and new business, and I'll get the opinions of the rest of council, and then when we find that, then we'll move forward with it. But in the meantime, we'll move forward with our project plan, and I think that's a separate issue. It's a good one, but I'll bring it up, and then we can move forward, dissolve this ad hoc committee, because I think most of the issues that were brought up at the beginning were all resolved. This is a new one, relevant. So I don't know. Can you read your screen? Because basically we were on B. So
Next
before
steps?
you came back, yeah. So that we already, as a council, already accepted the project plan, and then we were going to dissolve this ad hoc committee. This was basically to accept the minutes of the last meeting, and but I will bring it up tomorrow on old and new business and see what they say from then. But Roy and Jacob want to move forward, and I do want to move forward, not minimizing your concerns. We agree. But is it okay if I just take it up with council tomorrow night?
Well, clearly, it's not just my decision. I'm just, registering that I do think this is serious.
Okay, I'm fair.
And I don't think that, the generalized enthusiasm, to get this up and running should be, at the expense of, of this type of stuff. And as I said a minute ago, I think, there is a broad recognition that there are odds and ends of safety issues with this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. As a result of that, I think the things that, I think that these things need to be addressed at the beginning. Now how they're addressed, that's, of course, a separate sort of issue. I understand the difference between well, actually, I don't, but I understand the concept, the idea of the difference between the plan, and the bylaw. I'll say that. Yeah. I don't know anything about this stuff, obviously. Okay, but I understand that. And, whether it's one or whether it's the other, I think that this has to be addressed. Also, I would add
And it will
that,
be.
I would also add that, this thing is, if you don't live there, it's one thing, okay? But if you do, it's an entirely different kind of problem, right? I mean, it's sort of like some of the things, like noise, for example, isn't an issue unless you're close there, right? But it is an issue if you are right there. And it becomes a bigger issue.
Yeah, I've duly noted, and I recognize that, and it should be like everybody should be able to have peace and quiet where they live. We live out here, so
Yeah, and
not
I
just
think that that ought to be a
right?
consideration, because that's
Yeah. So
what a large
yeah.
part of the
So
sort of beauty and charm of living there is, right?
great. So we'll take that up. I'll bring it to council, and I'm sure Cindy will have some suggestions on how we can move forward with that.
Okay.
But it's duly noted. It's on record. I will bring it up tomorrow night.
Okay.
And yeah, I wish Miss Fanshawe could have been here.
Well,
but anyway.
I don't think she received an invitation. So as a matter of sort of courtesy, I spoke with her this morning. She said she had not received an invitation.
Oh. Was she a member of our ad hoc committee? No, she wasn't. So she wasn't a member of our. She could have made herself a member of our ad hoc committee. I didn't realize she didn't sign up. But anyway, so all your issues will be addressed. I do want to move forward. So we had business and old and new business, and that's, I guess, where we'll put the noise bylaw. Perhaps I'll bring it up at the meeting tomorrow. And there is no closed session. Is it okay if I move forward?
Certainly okay by me. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, good. All right. Okay. So 6, old and new business. I guess that's where we can put all that discussion. So there is no closed session in 7. 8, business arising from closed session was none. There is no notice of motion for 9. So 10, we have an adjournment. So we'll need a resolution for that. Okay. So, Mr. Richardson, would you like to move this resolution?
Sure.
Okay. And Mr. Desjardins, would you like to second this?
Sure, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so the Ad Hoc Public Swimming Access Committee, date May 10th, 2021, moved by Mr. Richardson, seconded by Mr. Desjardins, that this meeting, the Ad Hoc Public Swimming Access for the Île du Fond River Committee, be now adjourned at 6:39 p.m. and that council shall call another meeting of this committee at a date to be later determined if required for further work on this specific project, and if not required, this ad hoc public swimming access for the Île du Fond River Committee will be automatically dissolved. So any discussion on this?
None from me, thank you.
Do I have a copy of the whatever the description of the project is, or whatever was that part of the email that I received?
Not this past, but the email before.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have that. All right.
You do. Okay, so I'd like to call this to a vote. All right. I say yes. Jacob?
Yes.
And Dean is not here. Mr. Richardson?
We're voting to adjourn?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. And Mr. Desjardins?
Yes.
Thank you. So this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all, and I will bring up your concerns tomorrow night. Have a good night. Enjoy your evening.
Take care, everyone. Bye now.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, Mr.
Stay
Jardine, Mr. Richardson, for joining the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, take care.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
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 Jacob,
Yep.
I just talked to you for a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Desjardins was still in the meeting. I was waiting until he left.
It's still live.
I just wanted to know,
It's still
um,
live.
pardon?
Are we still live?
Oh, yeah, sorry.